Okay, Antonio, firstly, thank you for your patience. I'm extremely grateful for that. I really am. So, you sent in this Bell-Matic to replace two LCD watches that you've now decided not to have work done. Which is probably smart. Nice early piece. I have one of these, but it's got the wrong handset. Somebody took it for service and they replaced the hands. These hands are 6139 6000 blank poke style hands, which is correct. Yeah, obviously it's a runner. Gosh darn it, get out of my way. Stop that. Your alarm is fully wound. Okay, the alarm ring does not turn. I'm wondering why. Feels loose inside too. What the heck is going on here? Aha! Okay, your alarm works. Maybe I just didn't have this out enough clicks. First click. There it goes. Yeah, these are supposed to be, it's always a little confusing. These are supposed to be set and they should show within 5 minutes indicated of the hour, not the minute, I think. I don't know. It's early. So anyway, it's a runner. It works. Movement is acting like it's loose. This is an aftermarket bracelet, which is totally cool. Let's get that off of there. Come on. Hang on a second. Okay. Says it was serviced in April 2014. 2015, I lied. I mean, granted, that's 5 years ago, but doesn't seem like it's that long ago. Woo. Your case back seal is just like plastic. Look, I just tried to get it out of here. It just shattered. Yep. Yeah, there's some of it still left. It's just breaking. Okay. I want to look at this really closely to see our lubrication situation. Lubrication situation. I see some under the capsule. So for fun, let's get this thing, darn it, up to full power. I want to see the numbers. So we've got two mainsprings in a Bell-Matic. The timekeeping mainspring, oh God, that feels so gluey. Blech. Okay, let me get this set up. Stop. Let us go and set this thing correctly. 58.3 is the correct stuff. Hang on. Okay, there it is running. It's running in the 250, 260 range. Now that sounds awfully nice, I'm sure. But the thing with Bell-Matics is they run up close to 300. And it's out of beat. Bell-Matic movements love running. They love running. It's very, the one danger with them really honestly is overbanking, which is where too much power makes it through and the balance goes too far. you can see our numbers are, whatever, 40, 50 points low. And the mainspring felt pretty gluey. I don't know how thoroughly it was serviced, but clearly there's something going on. Well, the signal's clean. Alrighty, let's get into it. And away we go. The amplitude dropped down to into the high 220s by the time that power spike ran down. So yeah, the mainspring definitely felt gluey. I'm not concerned about that. So I'm not sure who this gentleman was 5 years ago, but it doesn't really matter because we are going in. These are such amazing movements. They're such amazing movements. These were, when Seiko came out with these in the late 60s, they were the absolute top of the line. I believe that they were, at the time, the most expensive watch the Seiko had in their lineup. They are just magnificent pieces of engineering. They're just amazing. Dual mainsprings. They're just beautifully made. Beautifully made. The first ones were 27 joules. Actually, the very, very first ones were 27 joules. But they also had the Dolphin caseback and Diashock on the dial. And those are quite rare. I only actually know about them because one of you all wrote me to ask me about them, and I said, I've never heard of that before. I am not a Bell-Maticologist. Yeah, this is the same sort of auto winding setup that is used in this, like the 6600s, the 6200s. So nice. Come on, get out of there. There's that. Your oscillating framework is a little loose. And not only that, I think the pin in this winding bridge is actually kind of worn. Yeah, we got some play in there. Right here, I'm seeing slap back and forth. That's a little worn. Okay, well, take it apart and look at it and make a decision. Because obviously, since like other Seikos of this time, it's not the hand wind only does the alarm spring. I'll look at that pretty closely. But first, let's get it clean. All right. And there you go. That's the heart of it. Gosh, they're just so, these big, beautiful balances and all this stuff. So here's the stem, and it goes to the crown wheel. Crown wheel runs over yonder, and it winds the alarm mainspring. There's the mainspring, which I have to let down. There she blows. That's the clicker right there. This is the alarm clicker. That's the alarm spring. Okay. Gosh, the house is so quiet. Everybody went to the park. Do I hear the mail? Can't rightly say. I don't see anything. All right, let's get this balance out of here. And now I've got to pull this movement, because that's where we're at. Because these things, because they have so much going on, they have Unlike a 6309 or a 6105 or whatever. Any one of those which has a separate setup. These have a barrel and train bridge like a 61, like a chronograph. So they all go together a little tighter and lower. Let's see now. Come on. Ever so slightly. It is a big balance. That is a big balance. There's that. Oh yeah, look at that. That's what's missing. Your movement ring spring is gone. Well, your movement spring is gone. There isn't a movement ring. Your movement spring is gone. So I guess I'll be replacing that. Alrighty. Let's see. We have the lever put in the wrong way. It looks like it's upside down. Yeah. There's your Evarf. Yeah, typical. All right. Seal is ancient. Ancient. I swear I hear the mail. I'm losing my mind. Okay, let's get this old gasket off of here. It'll be just as hard as a rock. Ha! Shatters just like glass. Okay, so we got this stuff. You'll be able to get all these pieces back and can look at them. Get the other one off. Come on, get out of there. Yeah. Scunge. Everybody's favorite subject. Wrist scunge. Yeah, these are interesting. Seiko has this crazy affection for putting springs, running everything by springs, or just using a lot of springs, like springs working against each other and holding things in place. And the Bell-Matic is a prime example of that. They love using their springs. Okay. So here, there is your movement. Little retainer diddlies. Okay. Let's get this done. That's a nice handset. Boy, the dial on this thing is lovely. Gosh, these are big movements. Aha! Everybody's home. Waiting for somebody to yell, "Did you get the mail?" Okay, I gotta get these hands off. Okay, so these are interestingly complex. So to get the dial off, you have to remove the alarm ring. And that's these two little diddlies that sit in these slots and sort of basically drag around. There's a lot of torque on these dials because of that ring. These have a tendency to have broken dial feet as a result, but that's not it. Just look at that. Solid metal, solid milled metal. Wow, Seiko just pulled out the stops when they did these. Okay, so now the ring is off. We can see the dial, and then you have your dial screws, which are right there. I don't suppose Seiko would have ever made a diver with this. Wonder why they never made a version of this movement that wasn't an alarm. So it was just a beautiful automatic three-hander. There we go. 8 November on your dial. Very nice. No broken dial feet. Yeah, these things are kind of old school because they don't have a snap ring for the day. So it sort of changes how you go through this stuff. Day wheel looks beautiful. It's a little dirty, but that is okay. Springs, springs, springs. Springs, springs, springs. All right, so when I do these, I do tend to go from the front. So hang on just 1 second. And get it down to the main plates. Good. There we are. Springs, springs, springs. Yeah, these are real interesting. Taking everything apart is, of course, the simple part. Getting it back together, that can sometimes be a little more complex. And the biggest demon with these is that they have that tendency to push too much power and overbank, and then you have to do all kinds of backwards stuff to get that going. Okay, so it pulled out that wheel. That's right, that's staked to that plate. Yeah, that's a permanent attachment, right? Sorry, it's been a little while since I've done one. Another sign of this being an old school movement, Seiko using Swiss-style shepherd's crook springs. These are the ones that go kapoink and they go off into the darkness and you never see them again. This is the same number font, by the way, that Rolex used on the Pullman. So there, look, more springs. Why is that way? So you see all these different driver springs, and this thing says 27 jewels, but it's that usual dodge where a bunch of the jewels are these quasi-functional ones on the underneath the date wheel. Come on. God, just don't fight me. Okay. Springs, and see all the springs? Look at them. What's up, honey baby?
I need to sharpen a pencil.
Well, you can go ahead and do that.
I didn't know if you were making a video.
Yeah, I am making a video, but that's perfectly fine.
I'm sharpening a pencil. I am leaving.
Okay, well, you have fun. Hey, look at that. One of these plate screws is missing. Well, I will have to hunt down one. So whoever serviced this forgot to put a screw back. Oh, and that one's loose. Huh. Okay. Yeah, these are really masterpieces. It's a shame people don't think about them more. I guess there was a time when they were really sought after collectible wise, but not so much anymore. But they're cool. There's that. Okay. Now you start seeing more springs. Look at all the springs. God, this is almost enough springs worthy of a chronograph. Springs, 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 springs. And there you go. See, you gotta strip all this stuff off if you want to get to something basic like a Diashock setting. They don't even bother to let you near it. Okay, there's that. More springs. Boink, 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 boink. Springs, 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 springs. Another shepherd's crook spring there, held in place by this. Yeah, overbanking. It's the one thing about these that truly does make me nervous. This is your alarm thingy-boo. This is... Come on out. Speaking of springs. Okay, I want to go to the other side now and start pulling down the train, and I'll come back to this. Okay. Am I coming out of frame? No, I'm in frame. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, because using this thing here with this secondary washer under here, that's a 6600 thing. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. Look at that, huh? Isn't that nice? Okay, so this should be... The one other thing I've got to do is let down that the mainspring for the alarm. Don't let me forget. Otherwise I'll get a surprise. Oops, wrong place. I'm a dingle butt. It's just so nice to see. Okay, triple shaft means it turns backwards. Ready, Lucy. Wow, that was really loose. Come on. Look at that secondary jewel for the alarm arbor. Wow. Oh, right. I already did let that down. I did that when I did the other side. Okay, so these are permanently staked to this bridge. And that's just the way it goes. So, off these come. Yeah, the most complicated thing with one of these is, of course, is putting them back together. And getting it all set up so that the alarm timing is correct and all that stuff. And then dealing with the overbanking. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Come on. Come on. There we go. Cool. Let's look at that. Look at those beautiful jewels. Ugh, just makes your heart sing, doesn't it? Makes everything wonderful. Beautiful day. You know what I'm amazed they never did, if you really wanted to, like, really kick butt, is how come they never made a high beat one? Can you imagine that? A high beat Bell-Matic. Old grease on there, I can see it. Shalecky. Okay, so this is always one of the fun things, because you'll notice the next thing I would normally do is to pull the center wheel bridge right here. It's a bridge, not a cock, because it has 2 screws, not 1. At least that's how I like to think of it. But you'll notice the alarm spring, it uses this as part of its containing setup. So I'm going to have to go kaplink. Hold on, please. Okay, there that is. There it is. It's a hand winder type, which is appropriate because that's the hand winding part of the movement. Now that that is out, it has a rest plate on here, so it doesn't grind up the brass on the bridge. You can see that there. Let me get that center wheel bridge off of here. There that center wheel is. Okay, now I can get this off of here. Out. Out. There we go. That's what you need to have. You can see some of the other crooks here, shepherd's crooks. Right, I need to flip this over and look again at this this side now. Okay, doing this front side is always a little twitchy. So I'm going to take that apart and then we're going to get this ready for the clean. One thing I forgot to mention. These are not, the upper mainspring arbor is of course jeweled, but the lower one is not. And this, you can actually see the bottom, this hole is ovaled out. I'm going to take the mainspring apart here and see how bad it is. We might want to jewel that depending. Yeah, it's definitely off center. Definitely punched out this side, which is what they do. They push the outside in this direction from the center wheel. Okay, let me look at that. Yeah, so, I mean, it got serviced, quote unquote, in 2015, but the mainspring has still got all of its original old lubrication in it. So there's servicing and then there's servicing. This is also going to be fun. Whoever put this crystal in, they put the bezel on in the wrong place. It's supposed to have a cutout right here, but they must have rotated the ring, and so the cutout is hidden, which means I'm going to have to get creative. Oh, it is much later. When it comes to, I mean, I've done a good number of these. It's just been a while. So when I'm doing something like this where I can't do it blindfolded, I want to make sure that I do it right, and I don't want to floor it. So I take my time and I'm right on top of it. So I've been in the process of reassembling. Keyless works. On the other side, some of the initial spring stuff is there. All this stuff. I want to get this to the point before I pull the plug today where I have basically I have the train bridge on. I think that would be cool. Okay, so would you knock it off? Of course, you got to tuck that in. So this is where if you'll remember, that's where the alarm spring goes. Okay, so there's that in again. This does not need to be greased because the alarm spring is self-lubricating. So I don't need to worry about that. In fact, the crazy thing is, the servicing guide says don't even bother taking this out. Just run the whole thing through the ultrasonic, which is wacky. I'm not doing that. Well, obviously I'm not doing that. It just seems silly. I mean, I'm going into it, might as well take it apart, right? Come on. Maybe. Hang on. Yeah, that's our baby. So I have to get out a different set here. Everything is just, you just got to be careful about what you're doing. Got to be careful about it. Hang on. Okay, so being that this is fixed too, you want to try to make sure to get this in the, because you have the tab on this, whoops, you have the tab on this thing, and it has to go right here in this slot. That's where it goes. So just use a bit of magic marker right there, right where the tab is, so I can drop this in where it's supposed to be. Okay. My Watchcraft C&E mainspring set goes away until the next time. Move around, look at that. Wasn't thinking clearly, but that's fine. That don't matter none. That don't matter none. Get her done. What the heck? Bark, 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 bark. Barkity, 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 bark. Bark, bark, bark. Okay. Mainspring alarm is in. Yeah, so best laid plans of mice and men. I'm not going to pull that back out. It'll flip around on its own. Bark, says the dog. Bark, bark, bark. Sorry about this. I don't know who he sees or what's going on, but no idea what the dog is barking at. Would you stop it? Okay, so now that looks ducky. Alrighty, so I'll put that over here. I just want to get this train bridge on and be done for the day. If I can do that, I will be a happy man. It's like building this thing, especially, gosh darn it, hang on. Building this thing is like assembling a house of cards. What's amazing is the way that they design this, is you'll notice there's nothing there's nothing between the alarm spring and the third wheel. Isn't that wild? It just, there's no guard. It just stays there. Wait a second. Okay, Sadie came in and delivered her laundry. God, thank goodness it's the end of the day. Okay, just got to get this bridge on, and that'll be the end of it. Sorry for the laundry noises. Okay, there is that. Now, where's our barrel and train bridge? Here's our barrel and train bridge. Let me get that lubed up. Okay, here we go. Thank goodness it's the end of the day. Gosh darn it. Someday I'll have my own area. Wouldn't that be nice? There we go. She's rolling. Do we have our free running? Almost. Almost. Not quite. Yeah, that's why you have to come into these other areas here and check it out. There you go. Nice. There, you see? Look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. I know I've already said it, but doesn't, you open up and you see the jewels there and it just fills your heart with warmth and gratitude. What a beautiful world we live in. They have such nicely jeweled movements. I mean, I could, in theory, I guess, I could keep pushing. I could maybe get the main section. I could get the train running. Well, that'd be nice. I've already missed dinner. Whoops. I just like going slow. If I don't have to go fast, aha. I knew it. Get up there. Train is acting like it's not dropped. What's going on here?
You gonna come?
What the heck is happening? Okay, come on. Come on. I gotta check something. Okay, that's all taken care of. Nice and smooth. Okay, now these are blurred in place. Right. Say goodbye to this beautiful jewel as it hides away in the darkness again for who knows how many years. And we put our triple line reverse thread screw back in place. Lefty tighty. Okay. Say goodbye to those beautiful jewels. Boy, it's worth it getting one of these early 27 jewel ones just for knowing that there's that many jewels inside. I wonder why Seiko did this. This weird extra thingy. Okay. Oh, your lower mainspring arbor port was fine. It was just, it looked weird because it was I don't want to say it's a manufacturing error, but the things were slightly in different place from how they were when this thing was made, but it doesn't have any functional effect. All right. Well, I'm this close, so what the heck? Let's get it running. I'm nowhere near the point of having to put it together. The whole other side is, oh, I've only done bits of it. So, I'll wait for tomorrow when I'm a little more clear-headed. One of the greatest. Flip this thing around. Come on, show me that. Because this will also tell me, man, talking about overbanking, if this thing doesn't have the drag of the train on it, the calendar rather, we will see how it does. Now, by habit, I don't lubricate the upper and lower pivots of the pallet fork. It's not something one does. Rarely Seiko tells us to do it. The one time it's ever in my mind like something you want to consider is in the case of overbanking. You need to drag out some of that power. Stop the thing from freaking out. I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to see if I need to do it. But first I'm going to see how the numbers are. I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, there's that. Oop. Yeah, it's live. Let's drop this balance and then get the heck out of here. Oh, I'm tired. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay. Maybe we can check it. Let it be. Get it done. Hairspring is in plane, as is the balance. It's just thinking to itself. Okay, let's look at those. Let's look at those numbers. Ugh. Hang on. Well, here we are. It is 4:20. Ooh. Everybody, it's 4:20, and you know what that means. Anyway, no, it is 4:20 in the afternoon of our next day. So getting this stuff together has been interesting, but the great thing is it gives me a wonderful excuse to, it gave me a wonderful excuse to review the Bell-Matic stuff, which was nice. Okay, so I started filming because I remembered that I needed to film, and I remembered that I needed to film because your Canon pinion is bad. It should not be wiggly like that at all. So I've got to replace your Canon pinion. Un momento, por favor. Okay, that is much better. This one was just worn. So now we are here, and it's time to do the stuff. Always with the stuff. Okay, so now actually I have to, because this is a new Canon pinion, gotta do the things. An amazingly complex movement. Okay, good. God, it's been ridiculous. What a ridiculous thing. What a ridiculous thing. So much effort. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Yesterday was a long day. I'm hungry. Sorry, I'll stop complaining. All right. Shepherd's Crook Spring. So exciting. So yeah, I'm not going to apologize because you know what? Nobody else shows this stuff except me. I did a lot of the work putting this stuff together, obviously without an audience, because I really wanted to make sure that I was on top of my stuff. One of the things about doing this is you can't ever assume that you know what you're doing. Always have to be ready. Okay, see that? Isn't that neat? Now, come on, stay down. Stay down. Don't come blasting up on me. Okay. I can't even imagine how much it cost Seiko to make these darn things. Back in the day. Let's see, this goes. That's already staked to it. Oh, right. Let's see. Okay, there's that. trying to remember. Oh, right. Silly. This tab, this cutout rather, always tells us what the orientation is because it goes with the corrector. And with these, it's all these springs, all this stuff you got to make sure is set down correctly. So I'm going to use sort of loose. Sometimes this works, especially when you've got all these springs sitting all over the place, because you've got to compress the springs, but you can't cinch it down, but you don't want stuff to keep flying around. And you want to make sure you don't lose your spring action, your shepherd's crook spring, which, as you know, is springy. You just keep testing, keep testing. Make sure that nothing's binding up. Another long day. I mean, who am I complaining? At least I'm not commuting down to Denver anymore. Ugh, that was the worst. Hour and a half each way. I did get to listen to a lot of audiobooks, though. That was nice. Okay. Okay, that clicks over. Firm that down. There's that. There's that. Test it again. Oh, actually, where am I? There we go. I was wondering where that was. The answer is right there. Why did I do that? Why do I do that? I'm a silly butt. Okay, so I gotta test all this stuff. Make sure it's correct. So let me drop in the bell, the alarm button. Okay. Haha! It rang for me. Excellent. Okay. Okay. I know she's running. Oh, okay, yeah. I had thought this might be an issue, but it was. It is. Your click spring is worn. It was only being held in place to hold power in the mainspring by the automatic winding, which is what it does. But without the automatic winding in place, it's not being caught. I mean, it's okay, but then it stops. So, gonna have to look at that. Gonna sit right down and write myself a letter. Yeah, you can see how eaten away that is right there. That little tip. It's supposed to be, you can't really see it. Right in there. right inside that little corner in there. It's not supposed to be an angle, it's supposed to be straight up and down. So let me dig one of those out. Here we are. So there's that one with the angle right here. And here's this one, nice and sharp. See it? Do you see it? Right there. Angled, broken off, sharp. That's what we need. So, junk. Junk, junk, junk. Get out. Ugh. Right. Okay. Let's try it again. Make sure we're in here. Get some different behavior. Aha. Isn't that nice? There. Good. Holding as it should. Excellent. Nice. Okay, now I gotta check that time setting. Something about that's funky. Well, that was fun. I had to go back in and check the alignment of some stuff, and the shepherd's crook spring for the date wheel went kaplunk, so I had to go hunt down another one. Super exciting. Okay. But the numbers are good, and that is what matters. Good numbers. Get that over here. Clean up this stuff if I can, at least take a look at it. That's just extra paint that got left over. A little bit on there, tiny amount. Come around and see, you can see that little orientation port right there. Just like that. See? Isn't that neat? Then the last thing is your handy dandy warpy washer. And I want to get the dial on so that it'll hold everything together and I can get a real sense of how it's doing. There's a reason I don't do these Bell-Matics very often, even though they're so cool. Okay. There's one. And there's two. You know, I have a good number of Bell-Matics in my projects drawers. I should pull one out. I'll redo it for myself. I have some nice ones. Not some real kick-ass ones. There's a couple models that I've eyed and I've never been able to find. Okay. Cool. All right. Oh, I've got a headache. Oh, okay. I gotta take a break. So here's the next thing. This is your crown. These things were built with integrated seals, just like a 6105, and they've got to be. I have new old stock ones. You don't need a new old stock one, but the new old stock ones I have, the seals are just as bad as anything else. So you can see there's the gasket in there, but I'm gonna get that out and replace. Whoops, and pull that out. So. God, it's 5 o'clock already? Ugh. Aha. There we go. Look at that. It's supposed to be a rubber donut. Look at that. Hard as... Wait, where are you? Hard as plastic. What else is going on in here? Yeah, I should have done this before. There's a brass spacer inside, just like a 6105. Yeah, that's the end of that. Okay, I got to clean this out. I'm going to have to do it manually. Then I'll put a new seal in there and I'll seal it. Okay, so I had to go over your case again, deep cleaning it. It had a fair amount of corrosion in it, pitting and stuff. Nothing deadly, but I really needed to go over it by hand. So, in the meantime, I'm rebuilding your crown. Here's your original gasket. You want to see something rare? This is a genuine Seiko D-ring. That's the rare thing. And you want the D-ring, it's a deep profile, so it's flat on the inside, so that it holds to your crown tube better, because your crown tube has some minor pitting in it. And that goes right in there, just like that. And we're going to go and put this back in here and close it all up. You will have a rebuilt crown. Very exciting stuff. And then I got to test some other things. Look at your case closely and make sure I got all the corrosion out of there. And there we are. All rebuilt. A nice new seal inside. Cool. Okay, I am beyond the end of this day. I get another one. But here is your case. So you can see it's got some. See how it looks frosted in there? That's pitting. It's not terrible. I've seen better, but you can see where the seal just sat here and water went against it. I do have another one of these cases, but it's not in great condition. Yours is honestly, externally, it is in much better condition. The one I have is pretty rough. So I am going to recommend that we just keep this one and just grease the hell out of it. And I would suggest strongly against going swimming with this watch, but I didn't think you were going to do that anyway. But all told, it's pretty good. You can see it's got, that's not rust, that's pitting with some rust that's been heated and pulled down. So it's not active anymore. It's hematite or something. I always forget there's some kind of chemical answer for what this stuff is. Trust me, I will go over it one more time. I'm just getting to the point that I can think about it. Okay. So, as I said, at the end of another day, this one has been running in, which is nice. No issues so far. We've got our very steady amplitude. I haven't seen any overbanking yet. And I have to do another adjust, obviously, on the beat error, but these are good numbers, good sustained numbers. You will remember yours was running in the, once it finally wound down from having a winding spike, it was cruising in the 230s and the 240s. So that's good. All right. Another day done. Let's pick it up tomorrow. Okay, we are at the final stages. So this, I just, good morning by the way, I let this sit overnight in evapo-rust. And then I ran it through the ultrasonic on super hot a couple, 3 more times. And it's clean. It is where it is. Anyway, sorry, people don't like breakfast, I guess. They're yelling at each other. Who knows what's going on? So in any case, this is good to go. The movement I have very well. Let's see now. Good morning. Mute. Actually, I haven't checked this today. Let's find out where we are. It's still dark out. Let's see, 58.3. Okay, that's good. Let's bolt it together. Okay, I'm getting close. So there it is, doing its thing. Here is the movement ring spring, which was obviously missing on yours. So that is going to go in where it ought to. That is going to go in like that. I've got to deal with the crystal. Come on. These are always real interesting to do. Let me get on this, hang on. And there we go. I think it came up pretty well, all things considered. Oh man, I tell you though, I am going to pull a couple of my Bell-Matics that have been sitting in my thing forever, and I'm going to restore one for myself. You betcha, boy howdy, I'm going to. But there it is, in all of its glory. Thank you so much for your patience, again, and for sending in this super cool watch. And we'll go from there, all together. Ready to go. Your junk parts are all in here. There is no obviously. I had to add in the. Movement, the ring movement spring. That is where it's at. So these have, by the way. Okay. Haha! I already had it pulled out. No wonder I couldn't pull it out. There. Oh God, the rocket, he's gotten into this thing. So then you pull it out to the first position. And we should hear that thing go spring. Aha, perfect. So there it is. And put that back to 12. There it is. Thank you again so much. Super cool. I'm going to do my own.